Peace family, welcome to my 12-minute cool down. As you can see, I'm literally sweating right now because this is what I do after every single workout. So this is a great routine just to get the kinks and the aches out of your body. I'm starting with a tricep stretch, getting in a bit of a straddle position, and I'm going to widen my stance and just lean over to my right a little bit. Really making sure that I get a deep stretch in my lower back while targeting my tricep, hitting two birds with one stone, and then rocking to the other side while still stretching the same tricep. And now I'm going to switch to my left, going to my left side, just a nice slow lean, getting out that lower back, that lumbar region, and then going over to the right. Swinging it out a little bit, coming down into a squat and just rocking back and forth. This is really good for opening up your hips, but not being too invasive. I'm leaning to one side, leaning to my right side, getting a nice lateral lunge. And just rocking here for a few breaths. And slowly rocking back to the other. Make sure to take your time with this lunge and just really be intuitive and take this time to really listen to your body and gain a better understanding of what your body needs. So just gently rocking here for a few more breaths. And coming up, get a quick neck roll and leaning down, still in that straddle position, and just swaying back and forth. This is really good for your lower back. Staying here for a couple of breaths and just rocking side to side. This is really good at releasing any tension in your back and transitioning into a cross glider. This stretch right here is really good for flexibility, and I love to get some thoracic rotation. A lot of us spend time, at desk or sitting down looking at our phone. So this is a really good exercise to stretch out the upper body. And coming down to our knees in a tabletop position and just going into child's pose. Really getting a deep stretch in the shoulders, the arms, and moving forward into upward dog. Slowly rocking side to side, getting a great stretch in that navel area. And we're just going to stay here for a couple of breaths. Come up to downward facing dog and just pedal out your feet. If your heels can't touch the floor, that's great. If they can't, that's perfectly fine. Just meet me wherever your capability is at. Slowly walking back up, going into a Ragdoll Pose, and just hanging here for a few breaths, decompressing our spines. And come up, spread your arms up, reach. And going into pyramid pose, getting a great hamstring stretch. And just hanging here for a couple of breaths. And slightly pulsing, getting deeper in that hamstring with each exhale. Switching legs. And with each exhale, getting just a little bit deeper into that hamstring. This is nobody's practice but yours today. You know your body, just listen to yourself. And just alternating, bending our knees, and again getting some thoracic rotation, reaching your arm all the way up to the sky and alternating. This is a great total body stretch. Come back down to the floor. And making our way down to our back, bringing that left knee up to your chest and just holding it there for a few breaths. And just giving it some light pressure, opening it up, and now we're going to bring it across the body to the other side, reaching that opposite arm out and looking towards that arm. Switching. And again, bringing that knee cross body, stretching out the opposite arm. And this is another thoracic stretch variation that I love doing. Just getting on your knees in tabletop position and reaching your right arm over to your left side and vice versa. This really stretches out your back, especially in your round boys area, your shoulder. And I know that a lot of us have tight shoulders from sitting all day long on our laptops and stuff like that. And going into another child's pose, getting deep and stretching that shoulder. And now we are in a half kneeling position, getting deep in that left hip. And now we're going to do a variation of world's greatest stretch. So reach your opposite arm up to the sky and then rock back, coming into another half pike, targeting the hamstrings again. Switch legs, getting deep into that right hip and putting your right hand down and bringing that left hand to the sky. Hand comes down and slowly rocking back, and with each exhale, getting deeper into the left hamstring. And now we're going to come into a 90-90 stretch where both knees are at a 90-degree angle, and we're just going to alternate rocking back and forth if you can. If you can't, it's perfectly fine to just stay in 90-90 and move at your own pace. And now transitioning into a butterfly stretch, we're going to apply some light pressure with our elbows on our knees and just pushing it down. If you have a wall, feel free to sit back on the wall, as this helps get your hips even more open. And we're just going to stay here for a couple of breaths, being mindful and intuitive of what our hips are telling us. A lot of trauma is held within our hips. Coming back to your back, and we're just going to do a stretch that I love to do. This is a stretch that really helps decompress the spine. Put your feet together, such as a butterfly pose, and just use both of your palms to push down on your thigh. And this is going to actually aid in decompressing the spine. And we're just going to stay here for a couple of breaths, giving some light pressure and then letting off, and then giving some more pressure and then letting off again. Coming into a glute stretch, cross your legs and grab both of your feet and pull it in the opposite direction. Staying there for a couple of breaths, and then we're going to switch. Getting deeper with each exhale. Switch legs. And gently pull to the opposite side, staying here for a couple of more breaths, really getting deep into that glute. and release. And coming into a pigeon pose. If you can't do a traditional pigeon, feel free to just meet us in the practice wherever you're at. Coming down to your forearm and just staying there for a few breaths, breathing deeply, exhaling. With each exhale, allow yourself to sink deeper into that left hip. And coming up and switching into the right hip, back down the forearms. And staying there for a couple of more breaths. Really breathing deeply into that hip. And coming back up to all fours. And moving into the end of the practice. Getting back into a child's pose and alternating from side to side. Stretching out our backs, our shoulders, just alternating here. Coming into a frog pose. This will be our last pose for the practice. Really opening up the hips and gently rocking back and forth, back and forth. This is a great stretch at opening up the hips. And that was the end of the practice. Get some time to thank your body, raise your arms to the sky, and bring your hands together at your third eye, sliding it down to your heart's center and bowing down to yourself. And just give thanks to your body for all that you put it through. Peace, love, and light. Stay blessed.